this area. I'm delighted that we have our Friendship Link members with us as well. We have an apology from the Griffith Club, but it is just fabulous. There wasn't a great deal of lead up time. So for everybody that has made the effort to join us within my club and around the world, just thank you so much for being here. A little of the history of our club. It chartered on the 15th of December in 1996. I belonged to another club then, but I was at the charter. Like a lot of clubs, they go through highs, lows, and members leave, come, go, and all the rest of it. And 10 years ago, the club was at risk of closing, and there were 5 little members that decided that rather than close, we would work really hard to build our numbers up. So in 2011, those 5 set out on a mission to get our numbers up to 15, and away we went. And we've never looked back since. So Marnie was one of the members that joined in 2011, along with Audrey and I. And Audrey has been a member since 1969. And she came along to the Caboolture Club, which was my charter club, back in 1986. And we've been best friends ever since. So where goes one, goes the other. And, you know, for the people that are here, several of us have met at different conferences and conventions. And I've also had the joy of staying in a few people's places. And hello, Boss Bear. Little Boss is in the lounge room, so I might whiz out and grab her in a second anyway. But it was an important opportunity to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the club, to actually celebrate all the things that our club members have been doing. And I always, you know, try to ensure that they understand that the word international in our club name is there for a very special reason. And that is because we are part of an amazing global network of women. For those that attended the virtual conference in October, you'll know how much time and effort and work went into that. And it was wonderful to work with Sharon and Sue and many others on the organising committee to make that a reality. It really highlighted that when we think sometimes, what difference can we make in this world? You only just look back over those 100 years and see the incremental growth and strength that Soroptimist members have grown. And whilst we might have had higher numbers at different points in that 100 years, I don't believe that we have ever worked as hard and as so focused as what we do now. I think that the projects are really touching a lot of people's lives, changing the world for women and girls. And what I'd like to do is just share a little of a video that our club put together for our region conference, which was also our 100-year celebration 2 weeks ago. And that gives you just a tiny little insight into what we've been up to. And then, hello, Trishy from China. Yes.
Hi, darling. How are you? I can't believe I'm here. That's lovely.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
And congratulations.
So, somewhere between Marnie and Fiona, if you're able to access that.
Oh, Fiona, wait a minute. Can you mute people?
But then what we're going to do is give Fee, are you able to get it or not? If we can't, it doesn't matter.
I'll make you
No, I can. I'm just on my phone, on my laptop. So give me like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, hun. Okay, so what we're going to do is then let Sharon have a chat to us. I guess for me, when she came up with the concept of the road to equality, it was a little bit different to what any other international president had put forward, because at some level it was a little ambiguous. We weren't quite sure what we were going to do, but we all wanted to get on the bus and go with her. And we were all prepared to sort of strap ourselves in for an adventure. And over the last 2 years, we've definitely done that. And as you know, with the COVID and social isolation, there hasn't been that opportunity for the face-to-face meetings, nor the travel that an international president would normally enjoy. I don't know whether sometimes it is enjoyable when you're in and out of airports and suitcases and all the rest of it. But Sharon's pioneered our organisation into a new digital format and Zoom connections that, had it not been for the pandemic, I don't think we would have reached this point in time as quickly as what we have now. And the wonderful thing is that it's actually brought us all together in real time to have what I call casual conversations that are very meaningful and very inspiring, because you can sit together no matter where you are in the world in the comfort of your own home and be able to share and talk about the real things that are impacting on us all. And she's done a wonderful job. And for anyone that has been able to join the Zoom meetings and look at the work that we are doing and the partners that we have been working with, it's just been phenomenal. And I think last week's in particular for me was a real standout, because the clubs in Romania are not necessarily very rich, but they're very rich in how they give from their heart. And the work that they're doing with the migrant women from Afghanistan and other refugees that have come to their country is really incredible. So as soon as I know that we've got the link set up, we'll do our club one, and then we'll spend the rest of the time with you being able to have a chat with Sharon, and for Sharon to sort of share a little bit more about her sort of where to from here. International presidents don't necessarily become feather dusters, and they go on to continue to be able to encourage a lot more other Seroptimus members to take on those positions at different levels. And obviously from our federation, we're absolutely delighted that Su Yong will be the incoming international president after Maureen Maguire, who we know and love very well. So how are we going with our little getting close?
But I just need money to.
Oh, have you got?
Good, I just
Fiona
need
as a
money to do the
co-host?
screen share again. Money, can you change the setting again, please?
And I'd have to confess, you know, we're still learning a lot of stuff in how we've got capabilities to be able to connect like this. So patience is always good.
No money.
And
I need you to not share your screen. I need you to change the settings. Now it says multiple people. You'd stop sharing your screen. Sorry, Chris, I didn't realize you were going to play this. Otherwise, I'd have got on earlier and done this with money.
Okay, I did suggest we would do that last night at the meeting, but you guys were busy as well. But this is in real lifetime, so it's learn as we go. All right. Have you got the link that you need now, B?
No, it's not.
Money,
It's not letting me share the screen.
All right. Well, if we are able to do it sometime between now and when we finish, awesome. If not, doesn't matter. So Sharon, welcome to the wider world of the SIMNI Club and their extended members from around the world. Maybe what we can do is just by screen, I don't know whether my screenshot looks the same as yours, but we might just sort of get people to say where they're from. So Ruth, you're coming in from?
Sorry, I'm coming in from Glasgow City, which is 10 years old now, although there's been Seroptimus in Glasgow for almost 100 years. Our main projects are to do with women offenders. We've been involved with Tomorrow's Women Glasgow, which deals with people coming out of prison who are likely to become reoffenders. And we've now also joined up with the police because they've set up a custody suite for all all women who are arrested in Glasgow all end up in the same place. And we're working with them, both with stuff for the women, because they come in very often drunk or drugged off the street. So they need toiletries and things, but also things to keep them busy. You know, coloring books, jigsaws, things like that. So that's our two main efforts, really, to do with women and justice.
Awesome. Thank you. And Kate, where are you coming in from? As if I don't know.
As if you don't know, yes, you've been here enough time. Coming in from England, I'm a member of the club at Stafford. I recently celebrated 40 years as a Soroptimist. I'm an honorary member of the Stafford Club, very proud also to be an honorary member of the Great Northwestern region in America. Yes, Kay. I enjoy being a Soroptimist. I enjoy the friendship. Oh yes, and 24 years ago, I started the chat line, which was our first tentative steps as Soroptimists into social media. And we still have over 300 members at this time. That's me.
Thanks, Kate. And the chat line was
Sharon
very...
and Chris. Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of chat liners here, including Sharon and Chris.
Yes. And I think, as you know, we've grappled with technology, the togetherness on the chat line and the friendship that has developed over the decades was very much the catalyst for setting up the social isolation friendship page on Facebook. So you are my mentor as well as my best friend, Kate, but it was one of the legacies of being part of the chat line that, you know, you wanted to keep in touch with everybody. So it's just continued to grow. And Barb, our region president from Beenleigh, would you like to just say hello?
Hello. I'd love to say hello, and how wonderful it is to see all you ladies in the flesh. I've heard so much about you all, but it's lovely to actually see your lovely bright faces, and congratulations to SIMNI. This is a great chance to get to know so many different people. And I really enjoyed the conference that SIMNI did a few weekends ago. It was just fabulous. Congratulations.
Thanks, Barb. And Kay, hello.
Hello.
And where are you coming in from?
Coming in from Medford, Oregon, United States. We are on the southwestern part of Oregon, just above California. And I have been a member of SI Medford for about 22 years. Just came off duty as finance chair for our district meeting.
Fantastic. Well, big welcome and thank you for joining us. And
Thank you.
Eva, I know you've already indicated where you're from, but there's a few that joined a little late. So would you just like to tell us where in Bonnie, Scotland you are at the moment?
Yes, hello. I'm a member of the Chatline, have been for many years, and I've got my Scottish flag here, and I belong to the Dunfermline Club, which is not far from Edinburgh. And we are concentrating on women trafficking, which is very much in focus just now. And we also environmentally concerned, and we are trying to have plastic-free Dunfermline. We're working on that. And we're also working on local things like homeless people and prisoners who have been discharged but have nowhere to live. So we're supplying them with supplies of whatever they need. And we also working on women's aid, where the abused women are housed. So we have a lot of environmental and women issues, which is really what we are all about, I think, as Soroptimist.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Eva. Thank you for joining us. And Jane, hello. I know we have a few members from the same club, but they're all going to have a chance to say hi and say hello to Sharon as well.
Hello, Chris. Good evening, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm from Canterbury in the southeast of England, and we have a friendship link with SIMNI. Canterbury celebrated our 60th charter anniversary this year, so I'm delighted to be here with you today, and delighted to hear from Sharon too.
Awesome. Thank you, Jane. And Hilary and Boss Bear.
Hi there, everybody, and here's Little Boss. We're hoping to see Little Boss sister very soon. I'm from SI Ellesmere Port, which is another friendship link club with SIMNI. So congratulations on your silver anniversary. And Kate Moore's my mentor as well, because we started off together in Nantwich. And I talk a lot to Ava because I'm born in Dunfermline, so there's connections there as well.
fantastic.
And you probably know me because of the brooches that's been all over Facebook at the moment, all over Twitter, and we're just launching the new SI brooch for the next biannual appeal. So that's hit the airwaves recently, and just finishing off the road to equality with Sharon. So our main project that we've got going in Ellesmere Port at the moment is we're working in partnership with Flynn's, which is a mental health organisation. So we're very involved with that at the moment. But I think you all know me through the brooches more than anything else.
And the visits to Australia and having me stay at your place, be it ever so briefly, on my way back from the UK last year. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, Danelle, who's one of our SIMNI members. Would you like to just share a few words on what you get up to? And
oh, I get up to too much mischief, but Chris has to keep me under control. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's not easy.
And Fiona. Fiona's one of our new members, and she's on that line today as well. So we're very proud of what we've been able to do, but the program that SIMNI gets across actually works with the passions of each of the members, and each of the passions of the members turns into projects or activities or programs. So really wonderful, widespread, from grassroots, which are really important, like breakfast to the kids at Curios, right to changing feminist foreign policy. All sorts of exciting things, like the feminist foreign policy is about how do we make sure that money goes to the right places for aid and development from Australia. So we do lots of wonderful things regionally. We share with a lot of clubs, and we do some wonderful stuff. So thank you for having me.
And Danelle's been very involved with the United Nations and many agencies, as well as CHOGM, for decades. So she has just finished her term as the Queensland President of United Nations Queensland branch, and continues to lead a lot of the work regarding climate change, blue economy, and built environment, looking at sustainable development, particularly with a women focus. So Gaynor, I know that you've already said hello, but we just welcome you back again to share where you are from and a little about the club.
Okay, SI Bridgend. Bridgend is a town between Cardiff and Swansea in South Wales. And next year we celebrate our 75th anniversary. So it would be lovely if some of you ladies could join us. If we meet at 7 o'clock in the evening in Wales, I would guess that would be 7 o'clock in the morning for you ladies in Australia.
We get up at any time, Gaynor. Just ask Sharon. Yeah.
Our main focus now is supporting ladies in refuges and ladies who have been abused generally by their husbands, physical abuse. We had a lovely tea party where we raised over £300 a fortnight ago, and we gave 50 pamper bags for the ladies who were in a refuge in Bridgend and in Merthyr Tydfil, and we gave 30 boxes of sweets for the children. We also do an online Zoom wellness meeting on a Saturday and sometimes in the midweek, which keeps us physically going and mentally going. We've only had 3 face-to-face meetings because of COVID. And now that we have this new virus in Wales, it's not as bad as it is in some parts of UK. I don't know when we will meet face-to-face again, but Zoom is marvellous. It's absolutely marvellous for keeping us all in touch.
Yeah.
And it's so lovely of you to ask us tonight. And I'm so pleased to represent my club, and maybe the only club from Wales. And I'd like to say to all of you ladies something in Welsh, Nadolig llawen a blwyddyn newydd dda. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Lovely. Thank you, Gaynor. And Carol, hello and welcome.
Hello there, Chris. I was just trying to remember how we became linked with you, and I think it's because you wrote a poem.
It was indeed.
It was, you wrote a poem, yeah.
And
yeah.
The
Jackie, yeah.
And you know, she left an amazing legacy with women's voices and also tellers of tales.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I very proudly said that I'm a published, you know, in a book, and getting some of those tellers of tales books back to Australia was really interesting, because the lovely Anne Greenfield from Tunbridge and Wells made the trip up to London. She'd been over to Canterbury, picked up some books from Jackie, met me at Paddington Station, of course, where else, after I'd been staying with Paris in Bridgend. So we had this short little swap over and happy snap, picked up the books, and then I was able to bring them back down to Southwest Pacific and send them out to everybody from our area that contributed in that. So that was really lovely. So, you know, we honor the beautiful members that aren't with us now, that have passed over and left that empty seat. But, you know, the connections are really beautiful. And even though we might not stay in touch as much as we'd like to, it's just a little tip of a finger and say, yeah, come and say hello and get to see the faces. So 2022 will improve our ability to network with our friendship links a little bit more. So thank you for being with us tonight. Today. And Audrey is one of the life members in our SIMNI club. As I mentioned, she joined in 1969, and she was also one of the guest speakers at our conference 2 weeks ago. And her and the woman who inducted her, Florence Drury, who turned 101 plus this year, shared a little of their journey over the Seroptimus years. But Audrey has always been somebody that has valued keeping in touch, particularly writing cards, writing letters. And when I've traveled and worked away from home over the decades, Audrey has always done that. We didn't have back then, you know, access to internet and emails and all the rest of it. And Audrey became quite frustrated when everything was happening on email and she didn't have a computer and she wasn't connected. So she took herself off to U3A and learned how to use these things called emails. And then when we started to get into Zoom meetings, off she went again, and she's got herself all connected up, and she's usually the first one in our SIMNI club sitting there ready to engage. So Audrey, over to you.
Thanks, Chris. Firstly, Hilary, I very proudly wear your badges. Yes, my first conference was in 1973 in Sydney, and I became a confirmed conference goer. I was so impressed with all the women that I had met. And now, of course, age and finances prevent me from attending the international conferences. I've been to a couple of international conferences as well as in Australia. So I think Zoom is absolutely wonderful. It has allowed me now to continue to attend conferences in the comfort of my own home. And it's lovely to see all you ladies there, see all your smiling faces. And as I say, I think Zoom is just wonderful so that we can actually connect. And the international friendships I've made are the special things that I like about Sir Optimus. Thank you.
Thanks, Audrey. And Judith, hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm from Canterbury in Kent, along with Carol and Jane. Probably, I'm not one of the newest members there now, but I still feel new because I joined just literally before the pandemic. So most things have been on Zoom. We started meeting up a bit more face to face, which has been great. So this is brilliant to have opportunity to see international people. So thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Judith, for joining us. Natasha, who's one of our SIMNI members.
Morning, everyone.
And very busy. Natasha was one of our members that went to CSW in New York last year with me and Fiona. And that was an adventure. That was her first real leap of faith into the world of Sir Optimus, Tash, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Haven't looked back since, Chris. It's been full steam ahead.
Yeah, with a pandemic chasing us all around the world. It wasn't much fun, but do you want to just share a little about?
It was an amazing experience. And as I said, I've only been part of SIMNI for the last 2 years. And within that time, I am so privileged to belong to an amazing group of ladies that have taught me so much. So, and there's still a long way to go. But yeah, even being on the Zoom call today is just fantastic. So thank you.
Tash got to meet some of our UN reps in New York as well as Pat Black. And while we were there last March, you know, the COVID and social isolation was just starting. You know, women weren't allowed to gather, but you did happen to find quite a few Sir Optimus members gathered into Anna Riccardo from Italy's room at the Millennium Hotel, all under, you know, we were under COVID, you know, like a covert operation, but it was great. So they got to Fiona and Natasha in particular got to meet each other and really get to know each other there, along with Michelle. And there were a lot of laughs and a lot of bottles of wine drank at the Olympia Cafe, which is a central meeting point in New York for those attending CSW and other UN meetings. But yeah. Colleen, hello. From across the way.
Hello. So good to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Chris. I just happened to see it put out on the Facebook group, and I called up.
Where are you coming in from, Colleen?
I am from Sir Optimus of the Tri-Cities in Western Canada. I'm in the same region as Sharon, and we're actually practically neighbors.
Awesome. Wonderful. And our lovely Fiona, who is our IT guru, our, you know, woman, when I say, can we make this happen in 24 hours? She grits her teeth, you know, puts on a big smile and says, sure, Chris, just send it through. But, you know, she's been on a really steep learning curve as well. And she did a wonderful job as part of our organising committee for the 100th centenary. And for new Sir Optimus members to sort of, give up their time and be prepared to get involved in the same way that she and others in my club did over the last couple of weekends was just phenomenal. So, Fiona.
The damn mute button. Yeah, so I don't really know what to say. Still really new. It's, you know, when I look at just this call and, you know, 60 years of chartered and 75 years of chartering, and you know, our silver anniversary of 25 years, and then, you know, Tash and I having just 2 years of exposure to this crazy, wonderful world that is Seroptimism. It's one of the things that I figured out very, very quickly, and the time in New York really was the biggest lesson that I learned, is the real work of Seroptimism doesn't happen in formal meetings. It happens in hotel rooms over a cup of tea, you know, in a cafe at 1 a.m. in the middle of New York. You know, and I feel like all of the faces on the screen are sort of, there's this knowing smiles, and clearly from, you know, your acknowledgements of each other and your desire to be connected today, you all have had many of those experiences over many years and decades in places. So that for me is at the core of why I'm part of this movement. Obviously, when we collectively get together, we then use that power to help others. But at the core, I think the realization that what we personally get out of it, the connection to others, the connection, the friendships, and the being part of something bigger than just ourselves, is the most beautiful part about being women, and also then being part of a global movement for women and girls.
Wonderful. Now, Trishi, who has managed to overcome every possible IT problem to connect to Zoom all the way from China, would you like to say hello? You need to unmute yourself. There'll be it. There we go.
Good morning, everybody. It's an amazing experience, Chris, and congratulations. You're the most phenomenal networker that the world has, I think. You just get in touch with everybody. You're just amazing. And congratulations on the club's 25th anniversary and your wonderful, wonderful work for the 100th celebration over the last few weeks. You've done an amazing job. I'm very proud to be a member of the club, and thank you for including me. And as I said, I'm stuck in China here with, you know, hardly any foreigners. There are 2 foreigners in our city of nearly 1 million people. We have no COVID cases at all. But last night, I'm very embarrassed to tell you, Dr. Fred, who teaches me Chinese, said, Trisha, I'm coming at 5 o'clock. And I said, okay. Then I thought, oh, well, I've got time. The meeting's at 7. Completely forgot. I'm 2 hours behind. So I'm getting old. So here I'm trying to plug into your meeting at 7, which is really 5 o'clock my time. So I'm in the middle of a Chinese lesson. So I'm very embarrassed to tell you. That's why I couldn't connect. But thank you for having me. And it's wonderful to hear so many voices from so many countries. It's an amazing organization, which I'm awfully proud to belong to. So thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you.
And Trish was a member of our region before her and her husband Peter moved to China, and she's been a member for, I think you're coming up to 26 years now, Trish. She's been a region president as well as club president, and you know, when she sort of says you know, that I'm well connected, well, you know, sometimes I just have to also stand in the shade of a few others that, you know, really have a wide connection. I might, like Kate, have a big Seroptimus one, but Trishi is really very extraordinary with the people that she connects with. And China does not have access to YouTube, Zoom meetings, and what have you. But thanks to a Russian connection that she has, who assists her with her IT, she's been able to crack the code. And she was thrilled to be able to join the virtual conference, and also made quite an impact on, oh, Sharon, yes, I'm here. And it was Nathan, I think, that gave her a little space during the virtual conference. So
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'd like to welcome another past international president, Alice Wells, who's just joined us. Hi, Alice. Alice and I had a wonderful experience in Sierra Leone together, where we danced and sang and got to travel around in four-wheel drives all over the countryside with Alison Sutherland. Would you like to say hi, Alice, and just tell us where you're from? And
hello, everyone. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. And I was just reading my emails and I saw your email. And thank you for including that time check. And I realized I'm missing it. So I'm sorry I'm late.
oh, it's lovely to have you here. And as you know, Fiona kind of alluded to, some of us have met each other in all sorts of different places around the world many, many times. And our next wonderful guest, who is joining us from Germany, Nora, you and I got cheated. We were to have a wonderful time together in March last year, but COVID had other plans. So welcome and thank you for joining us. Would you like to share a few words?
I'm very proud to be with you all, even it's late night here. And I want to tell you that I will spend my Christmas holidays and New Year's Eve together with Maria Elisabetta de Francesis in Italy. And I hope I can go there because of the COVID restrictions. And Zoom is really a gorgeous thing. You know, we all wouldn't meet here without Zoom and without the COVID bullshit, sorry to say. And I think we should go forward also to have Zoom meetings internationally when this crisis is over, because I think we get more connected. And I feel so well to be together with you all. I'm a member of the Optimist International of Cologne in Germany, which is in the middle of the country. And my club is the largest club. We have 3 clubs in my town, which has 1,200,000 inhabitants. And I'm very proud to be as an optimist by all the actions we do. My club made now for Christmas time packages with special items, soap and sweets and whatever for female prisoners, and we delivered it to them. If you look on my Facebook page, you will see it. I'm very proud about that because they feel very lonely. Some are not real criminals. They are in prison because they couldn't pay their tickets for the tram. And so they went into prison. And I think the optimists do a great job all around the world, wherever they are. And I'm very proud to be together with you. Thank you, Chris.
Lovely
and
to
Chris,
have you with us, Nora.
Chris, for you, a big, big thank you for all what you're doing with your isolation page and with all what you mentioned there. And also I want to thank Sharon Fisher. I tried to reach her this week several times, but I was not lucky, for her great job, because I appreciated all what she did. Sharon, we keep in touch, please, because you did a great job and I admire you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'd like to welcome one of our other SIMNI members, the beautiful Cassandra Barrett, who, along with Hilary and her jewelry that she's created for International President's Appeal. Cassandra is our resident artisan jewelry maker, and she has also been very busy raising money for a lot of our Sir Optimus projects. And when I went to Istanbul for the international convention there, along with Sue Bradshaw, my niece was back at home. So she was tasked with taking a photo of every time one of Cassandra's either bracelets, necklaces, earrings were featured. So we sort of gave her international exposure as well. So good morning, Cass. She is also the mother of one of our younger members, Samara. In our club, we are very fortunate to have Marnie and her daughter Kat, who's a vet, as a member, and also Sharon Patterson and her daughter Lakeisha. But Cass, we're just sort of saying hello as we're going around the room and just sharing a little bit about who we are, what we do. Just, I guess, you know, what do you love about being a member of SIMNI, Cass?
Oh, everything. The friendships, the oh, I don't know. I just woke up. I'm sorry. I'm not ready. I love being able to help other girls. I love that we get together and we help other girls who need us. Mostly. Yeah.
No, thank you. And we have Leonie, who is one of the presidents for the Gold Coast Club, joining us as well. Hi, Leonie. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, Chris, and hi, everybody. Nice to see people from all over the place.
Yes, Leonie does a great job with the newsletter that she puts out for the Gold Coast Club, but it picks up a lot of international news and keeps everyone within her club and in her distribution list informed of what's happening around the place as well. So great that you could join us, Leonie. And Sue Lada is our Federation Communication webinar host, that person who makes things happen. So welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Chris. And it is so wonderful to be able to join you all. As I said, I do apologise, I haven't got my webcam. I don't have a webcam at work. I am actually at work, working away in the background, but it is wonderful to see you all. I'm from Goulburn Club, which is in New South Wales. We're 2 hours south of Sydney and an hour north of Canberra. So that's where we come from. It is a lifetime friendship, I think, with Chris Knight that really keeps me going. And it's also the international connections of having met Alice Wells, having met Sharon Fisher, having met a lot of people internationally whenever we travel to the different conferences and various things that inspires and keeps me going. And it's the federation work. The back end, yes, we've got a lot happening with our webinars and things, and I love doing that as well. But locally, we are doing a lot of work to help the vulnerable women and girls in our community. And we just did our Christmas party on Monday night. We gave more baby bundles to the community health. We also gave a huge donation of toys and hampers to Anglicare, who look after various people in the community and run their women's shelter and do that. So it is a very wonderful life. And I don't know what I'd do without being a member of Seroptimus, because it is. And yeah, dear Meryl, darling Meryl, yes, Kate. At the moment, Meryl Caldwell-Smith, who is our life member for the Federation, also a chatliner for many, many years, is also a member of my club. At the moment, Meryl's in Barrel, which is about an hour north of us, and in a nursing home. And unfortunately, her eyesight is deteriorating. So she's not on emails and chatline as much. She does have someone that comes in and reads the emails and things to her. So if anyone is sending greetings to her and do that, it is wonderful. And yeah, for Meryl's 90th birthday, Kate, we did that. We organised the flowers and got them from the chat line to Meryl. So it is wonderful. So thank you all. And yes, we've got a busy weekend coming up for those ladies in Australia. Don't forget the general meeting on Saturday. And Chris, congratulations to you and all your members from Moreton North. I still can't get over how you say yours, because to me it sounds more like Sydney. And I'm thinking, why is Sydney on this call this morning? Which is another club in New South Wales. So Moreton North, congratulations on your 25 years.
Thanks, Sue. That's great. And Sharon, you know, it took a little while to go around the screen, but I think it also gives you a chance to sort of see how connected Seroptimists are just in an informal way, and how keen they are to get together, you know, to meet with you, but also to meet with each other. So the floor is yours.
Now, can I ask how much time I have just before
Well,
I start?
we just had, I guess, an hour. Marnie, are we restricted with our, all right, so we can stay on a little bit. And I do appreciate that some people may need to leave because they've got work commitments and other things. So Sharon, maybe if you would like to share for, say, 15, 20 minutes and then just open it up for questions.
Okay.
Is that all right?
I was prepared with a PowerPoint or a video or a conversation, and I think I'm going with the conversation.
All right, it's up to you.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome.
So greetings to everybody, and it's so lovely to be here. Colleen is just down the road. We could have had lunch and then joined up. She lives not even a mile from me, I don't think. So that's always interesting to see where people come from. Many on the call are mentors of mine also. Kate and Alice, of course. They've been ahead of me in leadership, so it's been great. And Nora, I'm not ignoring you. I've just been on calls every single time you called, so we'll catch up for sure. So it's been a pleasure to serve for 2 years as the international president. So many people said to me, well, isn't it so disappointing that you don't get to travel? And as has been alluded to so many times in this conversation, no, it's not. Traveling is a lot of work. You've got to book some reservations, you've got to watch your budget, you've got to do so many things, and you're exhausted. And when you can meet everybody on Zoom or on virtual meetings, none of that matters. And people say, well, how can you get up in the middle of the night and do a call? And I say, it's easier than jet lag, because I would have jet lag for a week coming back from Africa, but a Zoom call in the middle of the night just takes a day and I'm good to go again. So I really feel, except for the personal benefit of traveling, it's been amazing to connect with people from all over the world. And again today, the topics that your clubs are covering are so interesting because they fit right into the Road to Equality topics I selected, except for the prison. And I keep hearing over and over again, women in prison. And one of our speakers on the 100 event, of course, talked about that topic. So it was really, really interesting. So I want to start by saying I come from outside Vancouver, which is in Western Canada, as Colleen said. And I have been a Seroptimist for 35 years. I was a charter member of our club, SI of the Langleys. And we just celebrated last weekend our 35th anniversary. So that was lovely. And of course, over the years, you start as what I always refer to as the ordinary complaining member. And then you choose to do other things along the way. And pretty soon you're right back into that ordinary member classification again. So you're not particularly anything special on the way through, but you do your part and you try and leave everything a little better than you found it and move along and enjoy the journey. So that's what I've done and that's what I will do. I will say, and Alice, you must have gotten used to this, I'm going to look forward to a night's sleep where I don't have to get up early the next morning or in the middle of the night 7 days a week for something that is challenging. You don't dare, you get sleep deprived. It's so interesting. So that will be my wish, and then I'll be bored and probably do something else. So it's all good. So I'm just going to touch on a few things. Most of the work we have done is available by video on the seroptimistinternational.org website. So I don't think I'm going to repeat all of that, although at the end I would like to share a 3-minute video with you. Get ready, Marnie, to just sort of summarize a presentation we just did for UNESCO that has 2 of our projects. I always think it's nice to see the girls that we've helped and see them develop. So it's short and sweet, but I think it's good. And I also want to bring to you our next project, which none of you know about, and I know that because I only just finished it last night. And so nobody knows about it, but you might as well be the first. So I would like to share that with you. But I think what I'm going to do is talk about how I always envision Seroptimist International as having 3 distinct purposes or pillars or visions or whatever we choose to call them. And they are international goodwill, global policy, and global impact. And I sort of keep repeating them, hoping that anybody coming behind me will follow in that track, because if people know who we are and what we do and understand it, then it's irresistible. And if they are givers, they do want to join us. But sometimes they're confused about what we do and who we are. So I like to put things in categories to make it really easy to understand. And the international goodwill is just what we're doing right now. Is where else would you go that you could meet people from all around the world and have a conversation? I often say to people, I know more about COVID by coming on these calls than I do at the 6 o'clock news, because I get the real situation of what's happening on the ground with everybody, and it's much more accurate than the news. I mean, I might get the big picture on the news, but really when I hear people are locked down again, I hear from Nora in Germany, and she says, oh, you know, we're not going out again, or somebody in Italy, or then I talk to the people in Africa, and you just have a much better perception. So I think that's just amazing. And there's so many ways to connect. And if you're friends first, then all of the other stuff just comes naturally. It just all comes, and you just want to be together with your friends doing things. Whether it's internationally, whether it's in your federation, whether it's regionally, whether it's locally in your own club, you just want to do more and more, and you're inspired by the stories you hear. So I think that's really, really important. And of course, we all like to celebrate. We all like to have a glass of wine. I sometimes say on my PowerPoints, it's come down to having a glass of wine on a screen. And but that, I can tell you, that's more than a lot of people have right now, because a lot of people are locked at home and can't get out and don't have those connections. And so poor them, but all they have to do is join, and that's all solved. So I like to think of international goodwill as such an important. Our conventions and our gatherings are critical to who we are. And you'll hear that over and over again when people belong for life. And in that context, I always like to include younger members. Everybody says, how do you get younger members? Well, you give them space and you let them do their thing. And they too will find the same excitement that I often refer to Ayushi Kandu from India and Olga Sedenko in Switzerland, who I appointed as my President's Appeal coordinators. One was 28 and the other was 34. And I knew going in that they weren't going to know all the details, but you don't criticize, you just help. And we talk about that today. And somebody's in the waiting room there, Marnie. We talk about that today, and we've decided we don't show an age difference. We have a difference in our experience. And because of that, we're able to work together very successfully without recognizing that there's any age difference at all. And Ayushi, in fact, I encouraged her because she's a self-starter. She was always looking for more opportunities. And so UNESCO wanted a youth group. They wanted some names. And so she put her name forward, and she's actually presenting at UNESCO in Paris, virtually, of course, on Friday, leading the writing group for the youth activists. So, I mean, it's an opportunity for her. It's great for her resume, and it accelerates her. She started off with me by saying, Sharon, I've got it calculated, and I think it's going to be 25 years before I can have a senior office in Seroptimist. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, well, by the time I do this and I do this and I do this, that's how old I'm going to be. So I might as well join Rotaract, where I can get in right away and be a leader. That's not what we want to hear. We want to hear them belonging to us. So we need to give them space to belong and give them opportunities and work with them. I was on a think tank with the Stimson Center in New York last spring, and this was a topic that came up. And I said, well, I think the intergenerational stuff is really important. And a young person said, yeah, but we don't want to be told what to do. And I said, no, we have experience, we have contacts, we have resources, we have lots of stuff that you could use. We'd love for you to have the energy to go do it all. We'll just come behind you and sort of support. Oh, well, that's different. And then they all put their names in chat. They wanted to be in touch, so it's all in the wording and how we treat them. But I say this, and it was Fiona who said, I feel almost inadequate because I'm so new. If it wasn't for new members, we wouldn't exist. So it's important, no matter how long you've been a member, you're valued. And I think it's really, really important, because we all just, as we age, and we are aging, we just want to look back and know things are moving along, and we can just come to the parties and participate. So I bring that up as part of international goodwill. I think it's so critical for us. And it's not about who's best and who's better and who's worse. It's about working together for the common agenda. So, and the other one is global policy. And that is all the work we do internationally with our global partnerships, our United Nations affiliations. It's a critical part of what we do. And often our members locally don't feel or touch that piece, but it is so critical. I cannot begin to explain how important it is. And we've got such a dynamic group of UN reps. We've got 22 at the moment at 7 different centers who follow issues. And things change over the years. Right now, it's all about collaboration. It's not about our organization is better and we're at the UN. It's everybody's working together to try and influence global policy, because not one organized, even UN Women can't do it. They need us, we need them. Everybody needs everybody to keep moving forward, because it's scary times out there right now in the world, with the environment, with the conflicts, with like all these migration issues. It's really alarming what's going on. Like we've just had massive flooding in our area, as Colleen knows. I mean, in that, Colleen, what would you say? That's 20 miles up the road where all that flooding is. It's, you know, we couldn't mail things a couple weeks ago because there was every single road out of the Fraser Valley had a flood or a slide, and the mail was stopped. The roads were, there was no roads. And luckily we're in the corner where we're right at the United States border and the ocean. So we weren't terribly impacted, but anybody that was trying to get anywhere else in the province was landlocked. They couldn't get out. So, you know, it's crazy times right now, and the pandemic, of course, is what it is. But so global policy is our ability to work with other organizations to influence member states to make the changes that we need. And why do we know that those changes are needed? Because we work on the ground, and that's global impact. That's everything you do in your clubs on the ground that you've just talked about now. How much better could you do it if the law was there, or how much would be needed if you had a law or a policy that made it not necessary? And so it's so important at that global level for the member states to agree to things so that laws are made in country, and we can then move on to get our work done. So when I started my term, I was very determined not to just do one project on one topic, and thus the road to equality, because it all seems to be about gender equality and human rights. At the end of the day, everything falls under those categories. And I just feel like we've been looking for our equal rights for so many years. We just keep changing the name. Right now it's gender equality. It's been women's rights, it's been equal rights, it's been everything in between, starting at the Declaration for Human Rights that was supposed to be for all people and everyone, and, you know, didn't mention disability, didn't mention women. They just assumed that everybody would be included. And ever since, we've still been fighting to be included in that group, and still not terribly successful. But now gender equality is the word, because I guess they figure it means male and female, so therefore maybe that's a better shot. So now we're at gender equality, so we'll see how long that lasts and if we're successful. I mean, it gets better, and then the way politics work, of course, you know, with some of the politics at various countries, then it gets worse again. And immigration, you know, everything makes everything different. So it's important, and it's so important to understand how all those pieces fit together. So with the road to equality, I felt like we have a gap. So we've got our local clubs working, and then we've got our UN stuff, and in the middle are our countries. But we're not really national, we're international. So how do we influence our own governments? Well, first of all, as a member, you need to know the issues that we're arguing about or that we're advocating for. And so I just thought, it's really that education that's so important. So I just selected topics that I knew our UN reps were really involved in and followed. And our clubs had activities on the ground and so on and so forth. And I picked those topics. Domestic violence, we all work in that area. Female genital mutilation, and that was driven by a member in Africa who herself is a seroptomist who was cut, and she said, "Oh, Sharon, I just would love if you did that." And somebody I'd met many years ago in California, Nina Smart, also was advocating against FGM, and so that was a particular reason. Child and forced marriage was another one because that impacts so many girls. And then trafficking, of course, is a big one. And migration, because right now migration is huge. And I mean, for anybody who listened to the webinar last week, and that's just been posted yesterday, I think, on the international website, it's a huge issue for women. And then the last one was the rights of older women. And before the call started, we were just chatting briefly. It wasn't until a few years ago that the UN even counted in their statistics women over 49. All the effort is on young girls, young mothers, all that kind of stuff, but never about older women. And if you look around, we're kind of all in that group. And yet we're not fighting for our own rights. So that never made sense to me. So I do work in the area of elder abuse, awareness and prevention in my local province. So I was very determined to get that into the mix. So we did a project in each of those areas, and it was to help people, but it was more to teach us what's going on in those areas and what those women and girls need in order to move forward, and how clubs can replicate those projects and work and understand them more and also advocate for change. So many times I've talked to people, I've talked to local politicians, and in British Columbia, for example, I met with the Minister for Women's Gender Equality, and she didn't even know anything about the UN or what Canada had agreed to at the UN. So I said to her, well, if you're trying to get something passed provincially, wouldn't it be helpful to know that Canada signed on to do exactly this? And then you could use that provincially to, oh yeah, that'd be really good. Well, you know, you never underestimate what people don't know, because so many people only know what they know and nothing more. And so I found it very interesting to try and bridge that gap. So our projects that we chose were, the first one was an advocacy project with Global Media Campaign to End FGM. And that was a group that I met in 2019 who were they were all media people. And they decided that they should use media to bring awareness of FGM to these African countries. And they said most of the money going into FGM is not going to the ground. It's going to talk about how it shouldn't happen, not making it so it doesn't happen. And so they had an idea that if they used video and so on and so forth, they could reach the men and women in community and educate them on how it's not healthy, et cetera, and they've done an amazing job. So we started that because when we started the projects and COVID came along, we had no idea how much money we were going to have. Normally you can guesstimate how much money will come in from an appeal because of the prior year, but we had no idea. So I didn't want to commit to money that we didn't have. So they were willing to work with us and not expect money right away until we could see our way. So that was really good. And then we met, Colleen introduced me to Kayanga Wasiki. I mean, Colleen, you'll remember you said, Sharon, have you got time to go for coffee? There's somebody you should meet. Oh, Colleen, I don't have time. But okay, I'll make time. And so she introduced me to Kayanga because they agreed to come right to my village, right to the coffee shop next door. And we went down, and that was the woman from Kenya for that project. And that's been an amazing project for us. She's a seroptomist. She left Africa. She came to British Columbia. She ended up getting her PhD at the University of British Columbia and went to work in the Indigenous population in our province. And then thought, just a minute here. This is just like my village in Africa. I think I can apply all this stuff. And back she went to Africa to work in her own village to develop something. It was just an amazing story. And then Ayushi brought us Beyond Football, teaching girls who were in a tribal community, an Indigenous community, who were many times first-time learners, and they were all, maybe 69% of them could have been victims of abuse or violence. And the team sport and working together and encouraging their education from that, and that seemed to be a prevention from child marriage. So nobody in their program, and they've got it in several villages now, has been subjected to early marriage. And prior to that, 40% of the girls were married early. So that was a great project for us. And then I knew I needed something in migration, and so Nina ended up back in Romania, and she immediately called. She said, "Oh, there's a big problem here with these refugee women. We've got to do something about it." So Olga, my appeal coordinator, works in the refugee system in Switzerland. So they got together and decided how they could work and identified a partner. And that was the subject of our webinar last week. And it's just great, because one thing I've been trying to do is bring Seroptimus clubs to the projects to be part of it. And like Chris said, in Romania, they were needing to access the fund because they may not have even had enough money to pay their dues this year. So we were able to introduce them to this project, and now they've got a project that they can hang their hat on that doesn't require fundraising. And so they've taken and all the children of the mothers that are refugees, and they've put Christmas gifts together for them. And they're very excited about it and very involved in it. And we've got a wonderful partner there, so we're going to increase our reach into that project. We just approved it the other day. We'll double the number of women. We started with 20 because we weren't really sure. And then, so we've added 20 women and also a fund for them to draw on for emergency medical. Some of their women, they come, and before they find their pathway to citizenship and they get sick, they have no medical insurance. So they have no place to go to get treatment. And one woman, in fact, is in the program and has cancer, and so they need help. So it was only like a couple of $100 per woman to be able to deliver that treatment for them. So that was great. And then the last one that we're just working on, I was actually in New York last week or the week before. I can't even remember anymore, but it wasn't that long ago. It was in December. And our UN reps, I was meeting with them, and one of them, Frances, she was with the UN for 30 years, and her big issue is aging women. And I said, Frances, I need a project for older women. I keep looking and looking, and even in our clubs, we do the odd thing for older women, but we don't do a lot. We might help a few of them, but most of our work is on young girls, domestic violence, so on and so forth. And so we had a big, deep conversation and decided that the awareness isn't there of what we could do for older women. So maybe we need to start there. And all of our projects have been hands-on, on-the-ground projects. So and I know from my own work, they have been trying to have a convention. And when I say a convention, it's not where we go to the convention and have a party. It's a UN convention on the rights of older persons. And when you have a convention for something, the agreements in the convention are enforceable. So if a country doesn't comply with the convention, there's things that can happen to force them to do that. And they've been unsuccessful. So they have been lobbying and lobbying and lobbying. So they've decided, they had a group about 10 years ago that came together called GARUP. It's Global Alliance for, oh dear, I already forget their name. Global Alliance for the Rights of Older People. And they've been working together, but in the last 6 months, they've decided to really go for it. That organization has grown to 380 organizations, global organizations around the world, who are all trying to get that same convention passed. And they needed some funding for a big campaign to take it to the UN and into the various big meetings that are coming up. So Frances and I looked at each other and said, that could be a project for us, because it would increase our profile, because we would be then known to 384 organizations around the world, which is something a lot of our members want to see, is they want to see our increased profile. and we would be the sponsor of a couple of those big rallies, and you know, we'd have our logo everywhere. Well, then we have to say which logo, of course. We know that story, but we would figure it out. It would be the SI logo, yeah. Not the pin, Hillary, but it would be the logo. And but I'm quite excited about that. The International Day of Older Persons is October 1st, and this coming year, the theme for that day is older women. So at the same time, we would work towards that image, because older women is what our target audience would be. But because we're not fundraising anymore, because it goes to the next series of projects, I think it's something that would be really interesting for us, is to get our name out there with the UN and the global organizations to that extent, which is something we have not done before. We get our name on statements and whatnot, but this would be a campaign targeted at the grassroots in many countries. And I think that could be quite interesting. So their big slogan is "Age with Rights," and I love the slogan. I love the tagline, because it's so true. Because so many older people, actually, their rights have been not honored the way we think they have been, and it just took the pandemic to sort of figure it out. And if we can't get something during the pandemic, we probably never will, because the plight of older people during this pandemic has really, really been brought to the front. And I know in Canada it's been horrific. You know, they can't hide anymore. They've got public-private partnerships that aren't working. They've got sanitation issues. They've got staffing issues, and I'm sure it's no different. So many of the other countries, the younger family members take care of their older people. But I know in our country, you know, my sons will say to me, "No, it's okay, Mom. We'll take care of you. Just leave the checkbook, and we'll deal with it." And so it's to me. And then it's all about the ageism lens, where we tell jokes about older people, but we don't tell jokes about babies. And so why is that? You know, is it not that we're not useful anymore, or we're stupid, or we're whatever? So it's all one great big package, this older ageism issue. And I think it's important. I know I did a presentation to my own club several years ago, and I watched from the front. I watched them, and they all were sort of very uncomfortable, because it was hitting really close to home. So when you look at older people, it's like many people, with the escalating costs in our society, have to make a decision between whether they're going to pay their rent, go to the dentist, or buy food. So it's food, right? That's first. You know, the dentist is last, and then they get sick because they don't have because they're ill from not taking care of their teeth, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, that's going to be a project, and then we'll probably do one more, but that's the second to last one. And I would like to share with you a video that profiles the two projects that, just because we just did it for UNESCO, I thought I might as well give it a try. Let me just make sure I can make it all work, because sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. Okay, I had it, oh, there, it's up in this section here. Can you see my screen and hear it?
We can only see, I can't see the actual video. We're starting to hear it. We're just looking at your folder.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Sharon,
you
when you
can't see it? Okay.
so to share a video, Sharon, you have to go into the sharing options and go into advanced. So when you go to share screen,
Okay,
click
just
on
a sec.
advanced.
Let me fix this.
Within their communities. My name is Hayanga Wasike, and I am the CEO and president of
Okay,
Really Emerging
it's
Studies
playing,
Canada.
but it's not playing to
have a
you, I
wonderful
bet.
youth
Yeah,
leadership
so just so if you stop it on your
150
computer.
women all over the country to come and learn
Can
for
you
8
hear?
days how to be
Yeah, I
leaders
can
and
hear
how
you.
to
I
be
just can't
agents.
stop it. Let me just see that. Stop.
Escape.
Peace building, media literacy, and youth leadership. The program offers training in sustainable
Let's try and get the screen.
water solutions, as well as the skills
That's better.
to
There we
develop
go.
Okay, let me back it up.
awareness training.
Can you see and hear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Sorry about that.
The Lagari Youth Leadership and Mentoring Camp in Western Kenya is supported by the Soroptimist International 2019 to 2021 International Appeal Road to Equality. It's in partnership with the Willing Hearts International Society Canada, where girls aged 14 to 18 are taught leadership skills and are given the tools to become change makers within their communities.
My name is Hayanga Wasike and I am the CEO and President of Willing Hearts International Society of Canada. We have a wonderful youth leadership and mentorship program that we hold every year. We bring 150 young women from all over the country to come and learn for 8 days on how to be leaders and how to be agents of change in the 21st century.
Workshops focus on health education, human rights and peace building, media literacy and youth leadership. The programme offers training in sustainable agricultural and water solutions, as well as the skills to develop micro-enterprises. Awareness training ensures that the girls are informed on harmful practices. The centre succeeds in building confidence in every girl involved.
What is leadership? Leadership is what is within me and is what is impacted in me. The reason why I'm here is to represent and to have the skills to improve in my skill on leadership. To be able to embrace and to be able to embrace on my leadership as a woman in the community, as a leader. I stand firm and bold to represent the women in the community, that we're the shine to the community, we're the change in the community, and we can be able to prosper in our community.
Tackling unequal access to education Beyond Football is a programme backed by Soroptimist International in partnership with Sarija India, delivering sports-based education to girls aged 10 to 18 from rural villages. The project targets girls most likely to drop out of school and therefore more vulnerable to the dangers of child marriage, trafficking or abuse. Beyond Football increases girls' self-awareness, fosters leadership and community skills, whilst improving both their physical and mental health. The impact of this programme, mixing football coaching with out-of-school learning to more than 200 girls, is there for all to see in enhanced academic performance and resilience in everyday life. Recognising dedication and talent, Beyond Football players are offered opportunities to continue their athletic development in India and abroad, whilst those who show interest in academia are supported in their pursuit of further education, skills development and vocational courses. The Beyond Football programme brings together girls from different villages with a common goal, empowering girls to become leaders within their communities.
Wow.
So that's just a short clip of the last two projects that I thought were good to share. So we get asked all the time to share our work at the various UN centers. And especially if you have some good video clips, they like to see it. So we've done a few things that we think are pretty good, and they must too, because then they come to us and say, have you got any videos? So they came several weeks ago and said, do you have any videos? And we just had these done. So we put it together for UNESCO. So it's, I think it showed last Monday or something. In a big presentation that they were doing. They specifically wanted something on girls' leadership that time. You never know what they're going to ask for. You just have to be prepared. And so I think over the course of the 2 years, we've really embraced this virtual business. It took me about a month after the pandemic started thinking, oh darn, what do I do now? You know, none of this is in the plan. But it didn't take long to sort of figure it out. We started inviting everybody to the annual general meeting and trying to do a little program. And I know at headquarters they said, well, how are you going to decide who comes? I said, open it to everybody, it'll work out. No, you can't do that. Oh yeah, we can, sure, let's do it. You know, so we had our annual meeting online, and you know, I get so busy. They say, well, when's the first webinar? And I said, let's just pick a date, because if we pick a date, we have to do it. And that might be easier than planning and then never getting it done. So at the AGM in 2020, we announced our first webinar. And I said, oh, let's do it on my birthday. We'll pick my birthday, which was a day in August. So, and then we started, and then we realized that one a month was a little bit much. We thought we could do 2 a month, but that was really ambitious. So, but we've done about 10 or 12 now. So they're very popular. Everybody likes the meeting platform. I think President-elect Maureen will continue them. And so it's been great. We have a lot of people join us, and we do the education, and then it's complemented with the projects. And we've done everything from UN engagement to how to go to CSW. So CSW, the Commission on the Status of Women that Chris alluded to, is happening again. It starts March 16th, I believe, for 2 weeks. It will be virtual. You can register online. I suspect there's no charge, or it's very minimal. It's 2 weeks of non-stop workshops whenever you want, whatever you want, 24/7. There's lots of, in your neck, everybody's neck of the woods, there's lots of time options that are friendly and not unfriendly. It's an opportunity for all of you to engage instead of having to travel to New York. I think last time they charged $50 to register, and then they waived the registration. They would get maybe 5,000 to 8,000 people normally in New York. They had 27,000 registered for CSW last year virtually. And it was really a good platform they used. It was really, really good. And they're targeting 50,000 this year. And then they left the platform and all the recordings up all year. So it's a great place to understand different projects and organizations. And the United Nations, because CSW is in 2 separate things, one of them is influencing global policy, and one of them is all of the NGOs talking about what they're doing. So the negotiations are global policy with the member states. Those at this moment in time are suggesting they're going to be in person with a limited number of people, but all the side events inside the UN will be virtual. So that's what we know today. So stay tuned. I'm sure it'll change with this new variant floating around. We just don't know what's going to happen. So that's the UN stuff. So
Sharon, thank you. I know time's getting away, and I appreciate everyone that's been able to stay on for as long as they have.
Let me just say one more sentence. The 100th anniversary videos, we've now got board approval to do what we need to do to edit them all, and we will be putting them online as soon as I get around to telling the techie guy from here to here is one and here to here is one. So just so look for those. I'm hoping they can be up sort of at the beginning of the new year.
That would be fantastic. We were having the same kind of discussion last night at our club meeting. So yeah, what I didn't do was give Hanny a chance just to say hello. Hanny, I'm sorry. I did acknowledge you from Open Heart, Open Door, but I didn't. I was remiss in letting you say hello. So if you would just like to do that, and welcome Shirley. I know you were online really early this morning and have just made it back in. But Hanny, can you unmute? And not working. No.
While you're waiting for Hanny, can you put in chat if you would be interested in going to Dublin, or you would prefer to watch it virtually? I'm doing my own private survey. I think we need both, but we're not there yet. But hopefully it's a conversation I'm starting.
We absolutely need both. Yep.
Henny, on the bottom left-hand corner is the microphone. Just click it and it'll unmute.
Are you able to unmute her as a host?
No.
Just push on your space bar.
Hold your space bar down.
No, it's not going to work. All right, best laid efforts. Fiona, were we able to access our video at all? Are you able to get in there now?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I'm sorry that we don't have time for questions for Sharon, but this is a bit of a whet your appetite, I guess, in being able to have had an opportunity for Sharon to share some of what has happened over the last 2 years and also going forward. This is just a little video of some of the work that SIMNI members have been involved in over the last 2 years, and we're getting better as we go with our technology. So still in the novice phase, but yeah, away we go, Fiona. Thank you.
Du même endroit. I can hear you, Jerry, but I've got nothing on the mic.
In
early she wakes up. She makes a choice in Hanoi, Natal, Ramallah. In Tangier she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala. Though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman. You cry and I hear you. We are one woman. You hurt and I hurt too. We are one woman. Your hopes are mine, and we shall shine. In Wallace, she speaks the truth. She reaches out, then teaches others how to. In Jaipur, she gives her name. She lives without shame. In Manila, Sultanbul, though we're different as can be, we're connected, she with me. We are one woman. Your courage keeps me strong. We are one woman. You sing, I sing along. We are one woman. Your dreams are mine, and we shall shine. We shall shine.
And one man he hears her voice, and one man he fights her fight. Day by day he lets go the old ways, one woman at a time.
Though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman. Your victory saves us all. We are one woman. You rise and I stand tall. We are one woman. Your world is mine, and we shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine.
I'd love us to keep going, but unfortunately, I have to say farewell until we meet again, face to face or online. Sharon, thank you so much. It's been an amazing trip, and the road to equality isn't over yet. We're going to stay on the bus, put the foot on the accelerator. We're going to shine, and we're going to remind everybody that we are that one woman. And I'm grateful to everybody that attended today and everyone that's helped behind the scenes. It is an amazing organization that we belong to. It's not about clubs, regions, federations. It's all about the individual effort that we put in. And you're right on the money there, Sharon, with international goodwill and understanding, because as Kate will always attest, if you need anything done, you just reach out and ask, and help comes in so many different ways. So thank you all for being part of our special 25th anniversary celebrations for SIMNI. You have honoured my desire to make this an international event, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. So as president of the club, I look forward to seeing you all again online or face to face. So namaste and thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sharon.
Chris.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Happy Christmas to everybody. Happy Christmas.
Oh,
God
yes.
bless.
Yes.
Happy Christmas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Sharon.
everybody.
Happy Christmas.
Bye-bye.
See
And
you.
SIMNI members, bye-bye.
See ya, Hilda.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Congratulations, Chris. I was great. I was happy to being able to lock into it. So thank you.
Awesome. I'm
Thanks,
off to the
Shirley.
hairdresser now to get my 50 Shades of Grey covered. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Take care.
care.
Thank you, Marty.
Bye. That's all
Good
right.
night, Chris.
Thank you, P.
Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I always like to see who hangs up last.
I know. It'll be me. I'm the host.
Oh, okay.
You and me.
You and I are usually towards the end, Sharon.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Off you go, you
Bye-bye,
lot.
everybody.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Take care.
I'll
Bye-bye.
stop
Again,
recording
Sharon.
with the last person,
Big
all
love.
right?
Greetings from Melbourne.
Thanks, Shirley.
All right. Off you go, you lot. Annie's got to go too.
Yep. Things are
Yeah.
happening.
All right.
Nearly gone.
All right. You just click that button then.
All right. Well, I'll just stop recording.